Sean, thank you very much for meeting with Trance Nation today.
No problem, my pleasure.
I'm going to keep it as short as possible because I know you've got a set tonight at Government in Toronto. What I wanted to ask you first of all is you've been traveling all over the world doing all kinds of shows, festivals and whatnot. Toronto's trance scene is increasing in popularity, and you've been here a couple of times. What do you feel about the crowd in Toronto compared to other parts of the world that you've done gigs at?
Oh, easily on par, if not better than most. Because I've been here, I think 4 or 5 times, and this is just the next one. And they're just wild, and they actually stay from the second they walk in the doors to really almost when the doors close. And I like places like that don't fizzle out. I mean, you can come to a lot of places where the club starts to die down, get quiet around 3 or 4. This place really goes from start to end. I mean, obviously the rave scene's always been really strong in Toronto, with parties like Labour of Love really, really holding it down. I think it's always been at the Government.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, it's overall, Canadian crowds generally overall are good late night people. I mean, Montreal's an after hours club city, so I mean, that's nothing new to them, and they get a really good scene here.
Nice, and I know you've been doing all kinds of collaborations recently with lots of people. Is there anything like an album that's going to be coming out or down the pipe?
There was. I mean, as far as an album goes, a lot of people ask me, "Oh, why'd you cancel the album?" And I didn't really cancel the album. You're hearing it all year. It's the reason I've been able to release one track almost every 3 weeks for the past 3 months, and it's just due to assorted political reasons, but also, one thing I've noticed about albums is people put so much work into an album. Some people up to 2 years of work, or sometimes more. They do all this work, and then somebody goes and gets the album, and listen to all the tracks. Say you do 10 to 12 tracks. It's great. You put a lot of time into these tracks, and basically people only really find the 3 tracks they like, and that's all they listen to, or that's all they go, or as a DJ, that's all they go play. So you it's not that you wasted the time on the other 9, but I just really wanted to make sure that each track got the attention it deserved, and that when I released each track, I was still in love with the track, as opposed to with an album. If you do an album that takes you 2 years, you're going to end up probably not really loving at least a couple of them that you finished in the beginning.
Of course. Now, what about let's talk about your Titanium sessions. It's growing in popularity exponentially. How do you feel about how do you feel about Titanium sessions right now?
I love doing it. I mean, it's a weekly, it's a real commitment. Of course, I mean, I really have to stay on top of the new promos that I get in my email almost every day, and I just try to make sure that I'm in the studio to do that show 1 time a week, because I really have to be. And if I get 1 day in the studio a week, then it's got to go to the show, because obviously it's weekly. It goes out on podcasts, goes on FM stations, and goes out on, of course, afterhours.fm first all the time. So it's just. Yeah, I mean, it's a real commitment. I try not to miss a week, and I don't think I have in quite a while. And if I do, it's if I miss a week on After Hours, then it'll still go on podcast the next day. So the cycle always continues. But yeah, the listeners have been great. Everybody's been giving good feedback, and the show keeps going. So
good. And now you've been traveling a lot this year. You're also going to be traveling to, I believe, Sharm el Sheikh right after this. Out of all the events that you've been to so far this year, what sticks out the most for you currently?
So far, my favorite event this year, I didn't know what to expect, because I had never been to Germany for Nature One. And that was definitely my favorite event of the year. That was main stage there. They actually had on my Facebook page, I had it up on streaming video for a while. I think you can still go there, my normal Facebook page, and stream it. That was really great, because Germany is not known as a trance country, and the response was fantastic. Now, granted, I played a mixture of a couple of different styles there, but I mean, the people were easily one of the best crowds I played for this year.
Now, you're back in Ibiza as well recently. What have you seen in terms of changes in the EDM movement, specifically with trance in Ibiza? Has there been a shift going on in terms of what's more popular at this time?
As far as trance goes, you're going to find, apart from the State of Trance over at Privilege, with that Armin does weekly on Monday nights, and then you have Colors, which I play at on Tuesdays at Es Paradis. You don't really find too many other trance nights per se. Obviously Tiesto's not trance anymore, and he's doing his night as Pasha, he's doing his own thing, but you really don't find trance nights anymore. I mean, of course, yeah, I guess you could say Paul Van Dyke also over at Cream, but that's not a weekly party. So apart from that, if there's a trance night or a trance boat party, it's very underground, very word of mouth, minimally promoted. You know, there's a group called Driftwood. They do a very cool weekly Monday boat party during the day,
Oh, wow.
and they get great names, and it's for like 200 people, so it's really personal on a boat that goes out, you know, around the island. That's
Wow.
just, and like these little things, you're gonna find more and more pockets of these trance parties throughout the world, because trance, I think, is finally kind of taking a step back into the more underground scene, as opposed to the forefront, which obviously is progressive house these days.
Of course. And now recently, Armin has moved from Amnesia, I believe that was last year in Ibiza, to Privilege. You've been to both venues. What do you think about the change of venue?
Appropriate. This was a real step in the right direction when you see how packed these Armada nights, these State of Trance nights get over at Privilege. It's ridiculous. And Privilege, I mean, it's an experience. The night's got just nothing but shows going on through the whole set. I mean, apart from the fact that the stage is beautiful, you have, you know, acrobats and fire dancers and actually some of the most beautiful dancing staff I've ever seen in my life, all going on at the same time. It's a sensory kind of overload. It's just, there's always something to be looking at. It's cool.
Now, a lot of trance producers and DJs these days have experimented with other genres, so to speak. What do you think about that? What is your opinion about maybe experimenting or trying something new in your trance routine? What do you think about that?
Highly recommended. Trance is a genre that has not been per se, and I've said it before, the fans don't necessarily want the trance guys to change, and it's not really holding. It's not that it's holding us back. It's just a bit frustrating because after 10 years of doing this in the studio, I can't be hearing the same patches over and over and the same formulas and everything like that. So I need to grow. I need to change, and everybody's feeling this. Every artist seems to be kind of embracing, you know, bits and pieces of other genres that they really, really like, and that's really important. And that's what's needed for any genre to grow. You know, like house music has changed, and obviously it's really splintered up. And you know, you have electro house, progressive house, commercial progressive house, you know, deep house, you know, all these styles of house,
Yeah.
which is just great. I mean, every genre is getting kind of pigeonholed in itself. It's, you know, when I told somebody else also, like, I like how iTunes sells their music. Dance music, electronica, and those are the two dance music genres that they have. So that's the best, because you really have everything mixed into one, and you can come across so many more records this way, as opposed to somebody who goes on Beatport and goes, I want to hear trance today. And you know how much music they're missing out on? A lot, on a weekly basis.
Yeah. So we're almost at the end of August now, middle of August actually. So you've got a couple of months left for 2012. Your schedule is probably really booked up. What venue or what event are you really looking forward to for the remainder of the year from now?
Of course. Well, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Nocturnal Wonderland next month over in LA. I think that's going to be, I mean, me and a couple of other guys from tonight went to go play there last year, and it was just unbelievable. So we're expecting nothing less. I mean, it's Insomniac events. You really cannot go wrong. Every single one of their events is just perfect and well organized. So yeah, looking forward to getting back over there and doing a nice, small, kind of personal kind of thing the night before in New York over at Sullivan Room.
Oh.
So yeah, that weekend for me is looking just perfect. I love weekends like that.
So now I think you're residing in Switzerland, am I right? Okay.
Right.
And you're originally from New Jersey?
New York.
New York. What do you think about the American scene for trance compared to, say, the European scene, if you were to compare side by side?
It's still a better scene, not necessarily better, but it's definitely more easily sellable as for a promoter to go think and do a trance lineup or a trance night. Mm-hmm. In Europe, in most places, it's probably easier. In America, it just depends on where you are. If you're on one of the coasts, if you're looking at you know, Toronto, Montreal, New York, maybe Philly, and maybe DC, you could do trance nights. And if you're over in, you know, Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, you could do trance nights. Apart from those places, maybe a couple places in Texas, there's not really many places to be playing trance music. And even Arizona hasn't, that's not too far from the coast either, but it's got like Phoenix and Scottsdale, not the end of the world, but in the middle states, that's all house. Okay. Whereas in Europe, you have Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and these all countries that are doing trance nights year-round.
Now, you're traveling all over the world non-stop. You're managing Titanium sessions. You're also you know, in the studio a lot. How do you manage all this effectively? Because I mean, you're doing such a good job so far, and you've been in this industry for so long. What is the secret? What is it that allows you to manage the time so effectively?
Wake up early in the morning when you're home and just get your ass right to the studio. Take as many cups of coffee as you need and just go do that. I don't really know. Plus I got 2 kids at home, all under the age of 3. So it's balancing all of that is insane. June was a heavy month with the traveling, and I think I was in the studio for maybe 3 or 4 days that whole month. One of the weeks I had to do 2 Titanium episodes in one day because I just didn't have a chance to do it for the next 14 days.
Wow.
So I guess the secret is to just be able to get a little bit of work done on your laptop when you're away, because my secret is now trying to readjust and really be able to produce on a laptop. So I just got the new Retina display MacBook Pro. I just can't wait to really get cracking with it. The screen is just such a pleasure to look at.
I can see it from here. It looks lovely, lovely indeed.
The resolution is unbelievable.
So tonight we've got a full lineup at Government with Contact, yourself, and many of the big trance names: Simon Patterson, Ashley Walbridge, and Sid Van Riel. I think I've covered everybody.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I love coming back to the Government. I see a lot of familiar faces at this point. I've met a lot of people, several times every time coming back, and it's always good to go to the foot of the stage and like, oh my God, you made it out. And, great to see a lot of people, and I just can't wait to get back. I mean, I love the club too. I love how the stage goes up and down. They're really on top of it. The vibe is fantastic, and there's a place for the DJs to all kind of convene right behind the booth. So, and plus the organization is terrific. You're at the club on time, and you're at the airport on time every time coming here. And the sound system here is good, so you have nothing to complain about. The setup's great here. This is just fantastic.
Well, I want to say thank you very much for meeting with us and giving us the opportunity to speak to you on camera today.
Pleasure.
I wish you all the best for your upcoming set tonight, and I know you're traveling right away tomorrow to Egypt. Sharm el Sheikh sounds exciting.
It's gonna be. I can't wait to just get there. I just want to fast forward because I know it's gonna be a hell of a journey. So.
What's the lineup in Egypt for the next event?
What's it? Let's see. I feel the Ferry Corsten, W&W, Bjorn Akesson.
Wow.
I think it's Mohammed Ragab.
Okay.
And one of Ali and Felix singers, Trident.
Oh, okay.
And then there's me. Yeah. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for meeting with us today. And
My pleasure.
Wish you all the best tonight.
Thank you.